Think back to a couple of films ago. We were talking about the rules and how it's better to think of prepositions as tools to do jobs. Exactly the same is true for a, an and the. There is a very complex set of rules with an equally complex list of exceptions. And unless you have a brain the size of Belgium, you will always have a problem knowing when to use what. And that's not the only problem. The rules don't really work. Here's an example. Who are you? I'm Tom Cruise. Wow, the Tom Cruise? No, just Tom Cruise. Now, if you follow the rules, it seems that this conversation breaks them twice, or is somewhere deep in the book of exceptions. But it is good English, and it makes perfect sense. So the rules don't work, or at least they're not very helpful. So let's look at that conversation again. Who are you? I'm Tom Cruise. Wow, do you mean the specific American actor called Tom Cruise that everyone immediately thinks of when they hear the name? Are you that Tom Cruise? No, I'm just an example of a man with a name that sounds the same as that of the man you are talking about. One of many. So, which conversation was easier? Which would you rather have? A, an and the are the tools you need if you want to have the first conversation instead of the second. Now, there's another way that many people are taught about these words. They're taught to ask themselves the question, is it countable or uncountable? The theory is if it's uncountable, you don't need an article. As a quick guideline, this can be useful, but it soon runs into trouble if you push it too hard. Let's look at a few words and decide for each word whether we need to use an article or not. If you got them all right, then bravo. But don't get too comfortable. If you got some or all of them wrong, then congratulations, your life is about to get better. Let's talk about sex. This song, Let's Talk About Sex, was a hit for rappers Salt and Pepper in 1991. It's a perfect example of when we don't need a, an and the. We're talking about the concept, the idea of sex. If we're talking conceptually, in the abstract, we don't need to use a, an and the. Good news. So let's talk about sex, love, fear, money, philosophy, ethics, morality, music, art, science. However, the song is about the idea of sex. A lot of love songs are, of course, about seduction, about persuading someone to move from the abstract to the physical. Now, what happens if the song works? Well, if it does its job properly, then the next morning the couple wake up together, at which point they might talk about the sex we had last night. So what changed? Well, it's very simple. They are no longer talking about the idea, the concept. They're talking about a specific, definite event. There's nothing conceptual about it. It started, it finished. So, all of the words you would usually think of as being in the no column could also be in the yes column. It has nothing to do with the type of word or countability, etc. It's up to you. Are you being abstract or concrete, conceptual or specific? So, let's talk about the sex we had last night, the love of chocolate, the fear of spiders, the money I lent you yesterday, the philosophy of Socrates, the ethics of genetic manipulation, the morality of religion, the music of the 1970s, the art of Da Vinci, the science of computing. Here's a little story to illustrate the point. Blank. 4 dogs went to blank beach by blank big lake, where they dug blank hole in which to bury blank bones. What do you think? Get a piece of paper, pause the video, write it out how you think it should be. Relax, take your time. It's not a test. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Did you put 4 dogs? Is it okay to start a story with 4 dogs? Yes, it is. It's fine. Because there are 4 of them. I mean, we're not thinking about the concept of dogs. So if there was just 1 dog, it would be a dog. A is 1. But there is no plural of a or an, so 4 dogs is fine. Did you put the 4 dogs? Is it okay to start a story with the 4 dogs? Yes, it is. It's fine. It's not a joke, really. Sometimes, if we want to let the audience know that the story is mostly about these specific dogs, we make them more definite and refer to them from the beginning as the 4 dogs. Oh, wait a minute. Who said that we're at the beginning of the story? Maybe the story started earlier. For example, once upon a time, 4 dogs ate a cow. They were very hungry, so they ate everything except the bones. So now, if we want to talk about the same dogs, the ones that ate the cow, we call them the 4 dogs because they're already definite. We've met them. We know which ones we're talking about. Okay, let's move on. What did you put in front of beach? Again, we're not talking about the idea of a beach, but a real beach. So we do need a or the. If you put a beach, well done. The 4 dogs went to 1 beach. There was more than 1 beach, but they went to one of them. Which one did they go to? We don't care. It was just a beach. If you put the beach, well done. It means that you're either talking about a specific beach that we already know about, or we will identify soon, or that there is only 1 beach to go to, so it is the beach. 4 dogs, or the 4 dogs, went to a or the beach. You choose. It's not up to the rules, it's up to you. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so, at or the beach by big lake. Again, you choose. Are there several big lakes or just 1? You can have a beach by a big lake. No problem. There's more than 1 beach and more than 1 lake. You can have a beach by the big lake. No problem. There's 1 big lake, but more than 1 beach. The beach by the big lake. No problem. The big lake has only 1 beach. In fact, the only combination that doesn't work is the beach by a big lake. We can't really talk about a specific beach on a non-specific lake. Now, in Polish, we have other tools to do this sort of thing. And context is often built in a different way. In English, a, an and the are tools we use to build context. Okay, let's move on. So far, we have the 4 dogs went to at or the beach by at or the big lake. And now, where they dug a hole in which to bury bones. By now, I'm sure you've guessed, it can be a hole or the hole, and the bones or just bones. You can choose to let people know that the bones are the ones from the cow, or the hole is just for bones. Whether they're from a cow or a cat or an elephant, or if you can alter the context as much or as little as you choose, depending on how specific you want to be and what you want to emphasize. Now, if you're okay with this, you can probably skip to the end of the film, skip to the next film. If you're feeling like your brains have been fried, then take a short break. When you come back, we'll look at this from the other side. Okay, are you ready? You go to an interview. You are invited to sit. There's one chair. The interviewer says, please sit on the chair. There's no problem here. There's only one chair, so it's obvious where you should sit. You go to an interview, you're invited to sit. There are 4 chairs. The interviewer says, please sit on a chair. Again, there's no problem here. A chair is non-specific. You can sit on whichever chair you prefer. You go to an interview, you're invited to sit. There are 4 chairs. The interviewer says, please sit on the chair. Now, if you understand the difference between a and the, you will need to ask a question. So what is the question you need to ask? Which chair do you mean? Because you have a choice of chairs, but the interviewer is telling you to sit on a specific chair. Take your time with this. Don't hurry. You don't have these words in Polish, so it really is a foreign concept. Find some English text and look at how a, an and the are used. It should now be easier to understand why the writer has made each choice. And remember, it is a choice. This might be a good time to lie down in a dark room for a while.